welcome to Corrections. I was told if I really want this to be in serious consideration for an Emmy, I should be cheerier, that it's maybe too surly. So I'm going to make that effort today. I said it's machinations. It's actually pronounced machinations. So thank you. We referenced an M.C. Escher painting. We were told he did lithographs, not paintings. But he did do one painting that he made look exactly like a lithograph. Classic Escher. We made a joke in the monologue before the first round of the NFL draft congratulating the 31 players who were not selected by the New York Jets. Then it turned out the Jets had 3 first-round picks, so there were only 29 survivors. The Jets draft was lauded by many as being an excellent draft, and some people said, hey, you better be careful. The Jets are good now. And it is true. They always say, you never want to see the Jets on your schedule in May. I said that Marshall's has changing rooms, they're fitting rooms. I could see why those of you who engage with this would hate hearing me say changing rooms, as jackals are incapable of change. All right. Rudy Giuliani, it was Monday's Closer Look. We were real happy when we saw it, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things happen in the news, makes you real sad, and you don't even want to go to work and talk about it. Other times, Rudy Giuliani makes a video of himself on a golf course talking about how he's got a new Cameo, get a message from him on Cameo, swings a golf club back and forth like a weirdo. Pretty happy coming to work. We showed this. We said he looked like a metronome. And I like to give credit where credit's due. One of you said, that's a picture of a metronome in a New York Metro gnome. Very well done. All I can say to whoever wrote that is, stop hanging out with those jackals. You're better than them. Seeing a joke like that in the cesspool, it's like watching Matt Damon solve the math problem in Good Will Hunting. We made a joke about how airplane toilets are so powerful you could flush a toaster down one. And someone who works on an airline flight crew said, that's not true, please don't tell people to do that. And so on behalf of hardworking flight crews everywhere, don't do that. And if you do, don't say you heard it from us. We, oh, by the way, tap water. That's good, I think. We showed a letter from Eminem. You all said he misspelled found, founf. So I reached out to him. I followed up with, because he wrote it. And I said, the jackals are upset you put 2 F's in found. And he said it wasn't a mistake. The second F is a reminder that they can go themselves. His words. Samberg. Every day we've been talking about Anthony Samberg. We haven't been talking about it every day. So back off. He does the spelling bee, the New York Times spelling bee every day, and he gets Queen Bee, which is all the words. One of you said, no, it's not all the words. There's just a cutoff point, and once you get that, you're Queen Bee, and you can keep going if you want. You have confused Queen Bee with genius. Genius means, yes, you can stop, but there are more to go. And he gets Queen Bee, he gets all the words. And I think the fact that he gets that every day is the clearest possible reminder to anyone that they're not filming new episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's time for our weekly disappointment. I mean, I have no faith, but it builds tension. It's like Better Call Saul. I just wish he'd set his phone to, like, not answer faster. All right. FaceTime unavailable. Well, thanks for racing to tell me. Let's see what else. You know what? I got other friends. Could be calling anyone. Be a real bummer if two people didn't answer. Looks like that's how it's going to go, though. Because if I preset the calls, the magic's over. All right. Where were we? Oh, we had okay, here's Andy. I'm naked, just got out of the shower. Tell them I got Queen Bee. We had a joke that a dog's personality had nothing to do with its breed. That was the setup. There was a new study that a dog's personality had nothing to do with its breed, and then our punchline in the monologue was, for example, a different collie pushed Timmy into the well. Well, there were some Lassie fans who know the canon, and I was told at no point did Timmy ever fall into the well. In Lassie. In 1955, there was an episode called The Well, and if there was any episode for Timmy to take the plunge, you'd expect to be that one. But according to the IMDb episode guide, an unscrupulous water company executive trying to acquire by any means water rights from the Miller and other farms is pushed into an old well by Lassie when he mistreats Jeff. There you go. Our joke was closer to the truth. Jeff was the previous owner before Timmy. Then there was a two-part episode that aired in 1971 titled For the Love of Lassie. The well returned, and according to IMDb, Lassie returns to the Braddock Ranch where she left one of her pups while playing Lassie falls down an abandoned well. The Braddocks begin to dig to get the heroic collie out but are needing help. Part two, according to IMDb again, while the Braddocks work diligently with concerned town folks to rescue their beloved dog, Lassie, still at the bottom of the well, comes face to face with the corpse of an unscrupulous water company executive who, though long dead, manages to utter the words, "Remember me." I would say it would be traumatic for Lassie to fall into a well 16 years after pushing someone into the same well. But here's the good news. Not the same Lassie. You guys know how dogs work, right? Hey. And in my digging, my research, as it were, I think I can call it research. I feel like I put as much research into each episode of Corrections as anyone who comes to the conclusion that ivermectin's the cure. Not nothing. You know, but I didn't go, like, finish vet school. Oh, yeah, so Lassie, this is just on the trivia page of IMDb, where, you know, I stumbled looking for my well answer. Tap water. all the lassies, Lassie was a girl dog on the show, all the lassies were male dogs because female collies tend to blow coat. We made a joke about Halloween. I know I should explain what blowing coat means. And I looked it up and I know the answer, but the moment between when I heard the term and found out what it was, that was the best part of my day. It's just more fun this moment where you're like, blow coat. It sounds like something a studio executive in 1955 would say for why they don't work with female collies. We talked about Halloween and that if a party had no sugar, you'd have raisins. According to all you, raisins are high in sugar. So best of luck telling that to a kid who wants Skittles. This is exciting. I have an update on my book in regards to its place on the New York Times bestseller list. And the update is, lists are dumb. Like, what are we doing? Who's number one? Who's number two? These are books. They're books. They're for kids. Like, to rank them, it's not commerce, it's art. And they're supposed to last forever. And I just think the whole exercise of who did the best, it's just dumb. Which is why last week, I withdrew my book from consideration. Still updating. We don't have our Jackal mug yet. We mentioned that the merchandise, NBC, it's a little slow getting new merchandise. And just to give you a sense, first of all, of how slow it's moving, this was pointed out to me, so I did not know this. One of the things you can get, if you go to the NBC merch store, and you go to the homepage, and then click Other Shows, there's a bunch. It's not even. There's a bunch on the homepage, and then those little arrows so you can keep. No. So there's this is here, which is that's a mug you can buy now. And I think this gives you a sense of like the speed it moves. This is what the actual description. Stay up late and stay caffeinated while showing you're a big fan of Seth. The Late Night with Seth Meyers logo mug features the new Late Night logo on the As Seen on Seth Meyers Show mug. With this unique mug in hand, you are ready to cheer on Seth Meyers in his new position. His new position. Year 8. If you walked up to me with one of these mugs and said, cheers, on your new position, I wouldn't know what the you were talking about. We also have a notebook, and this was also somebody shamed it, said, why, like a bunch of these are exclusive. And they said, what does exclusive mean? That I got the internet and a credit card, and I did some digging, and yep. So we have a notebook and a hat and pencils. And this is one of the photos. And someone said, why is Amber so happy in this picture? She just heard a jackal fell down a well. She just did a line of coat. I think overall, that was very cheerful. I don't think it was as long. How long was it? Okay, so I think that's decent. I think we're providing a nice cushion. I think there was a risk there for a while that we were gonna qualify as an actual sitcom. Well, I'm just so very happy that my friends don't answer their phones.